Anybody else want to sign? Last call.
You sure you don't want? Sit right here. I'll just look over that way and you. This is.
Hey, dude.
I want to say. Nice to see you too.
Hey, dude. Daddy, you're here. We're glad to have you. That makes sense.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, really did turn out. That's what we were. If I trade, yeah, good job.
Call to order this meeting, the Oak Hill City Council, July 10th, 2023. It's 5:30 PM. Roll call. By our clerk.
Mayor Charles Briscoe,
Here.
Council at Large Bill Hannibas,
Here.
Ward 1 Councilmember Diana Janey. Here. Roger Evans,
Here.
Krista Hodges. Here. Ward 2 Council Members Chris Gill,
Here.
PJ Elder Jr.,
Here.
and Charles Smallwood Jr.
Here.
We have a quorum, sir.
Thank you. We'll now have our invocation by Reverend Charles Blackman, followed by the leading of the pledge by Diana Janey.
Father, we thank you for this day. Thank you for this new administration, new mayor and councilman. We ask that, will you allow allowed to be done, it will be done decently and in order. You said in your word in the New Testament that we should always pray for our government officials, presidents, and so forth. So we pray, Lord, that for this city of Oak Hill, that you will continue to build it up, bless it, use it for the benefit of.
Thank you.
Thank you all. We'll now have the reading and approval of the minutes.
Mayor, I move that we dispense with the reading of the minutes, and that I further move to amend the minutes and approve. And the amendment would be striking former member of council's statement at the end of the minutes.
Anyone
I'll
want to
second.
second? All right. Motion's been properly moved and second. Any discussion? Prepare to vote. Those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion's carried. Next, we'll have our treasurer's report.
I'll make a motion that we accept the treasurer's report as given.
I'll second that.
Motion's been approved, motion's been made and second. Sorry about that, folks. It's been a long time. Haven't done this since high school. Motion's been approved and motion's been made and second. And we need any questions on the motion? Okay, if we're prepared to vote, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those opposed? Very good. Motion's carried. Any correspondence?
No, sir.
Thank you. All right, we're going to begin our citizens' comments. Mr. Hill, would you like to go first, or would you like to wait until we discuss your? That'll be fine. Mr. Hazlett, are you here? Come on up.
Good evening, council and mayor.
Good evening.
Demita, were you able to get in touch with Jerry Cook about the deeds for the parks in Minden?
No, I did not get in touch with him today.
Let me know if I can assist in that any way. I spoke to Jerry today. He's in his office 7 days a week down there. His
And I
cell
have-
phone's the
and I
best
have
way to
his
get it.
Okay, thank you.
And I wanted to invite all of y'all, members of the community, council, to the Minden Missionary Baptist Church. They're having their 100th anniversary celebration this Sunday, July the 16th at 11 a.m. I would like to see everybody there. It'll be a good time. And Mayor, I've got a question for you, please.
Yes, sir.
I read in an interview that you did with WVVA
Mhm.
that you believed that voters responded to an action from the city involving flooding last year, and you wanted to see Minden being better represented. I'm not sure if that was a jab at me because I was a representative on council from Minden at that time. Now there's no representative from Minden. I've hoped that I misunderstood you, and what you meant was that you'd like to see the city be more supportive of
Absolutely.
Minden. I didn't know of your desire for helping in Minden. You didn't reach out to me during your campaign, and I hadn't spoken to you since your win. I would hope that me and you could sit down and discuss our plans for Minden, what I've done, what I've been working on, as soon as possible, that we can help Minden move forward on anything, especially the parks, floodplain mitigation. That's the major one right there. Gosh, we've been lucky that we haven't had a rain come like we had the last couple of Junes and Julys. But again, I wish that we could sit down and talk as soon as possible. I'll leave you my information after the meeting, so we can discuss Minden.
That'll be fine. I did not see the interview from WVVA. I can access it. They're friends of mine, so it's not a problem. And I'll
Kind of
be
rubbed
there-
me the wrong way, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
hoping that I took it the wrong way.
You absolutely did take it the wrong way because one of the reasons I'm sitting in this chair is because of the flooding. I came and talked to a certain member of council personally, not here, but personally. They said the monies were set aside. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. And just like with the Menden Bridge, whole situation there, everybody throws the Department of Highways under the bus. And that's what happened. And we got flooded again.
The Menden Bridge, the Department of Highways threw Menden under the bus.
Well,
Right
so-
there. That wasn't city's fault. That wasn't our local garage's fault, nothing.
How does the state though, if you can answer this, how does the state not know that we're incorporated or Minden's incorporated? And
Right.
how does,
Right hand don't talk to the left hand. I have no idea how that played out.
I mean, that
I
that
really
makes
don't.
absolutely no sense to me.
Agree
so-
with you there.
But
But
We'll
I'll
get
leave you my
together.
contact information and I'd love to talk to you
that'll be
sometime.
just fine.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your continued efforts. Okay, next up, we have Jim Ayers of Oak Hill.
How you doing? Well, we got 3 new members, never served the city before. Got 3 old members. We got Bill Hannabass, who's served a little bit of everything. I just hope between the 7 of y'all, we can try and work as a city again, move it forward. I'd like to see y'all, well, we got a new mayor also. But I'd like to see y'all try to promote Oak Hill a little more. You go to Fayetteville, you see all kind of tourists walking up and down the streets. Come to Oak Hill, same people every day. We got Minden, we got Ace down there. We get a lot of tourists come right through Oak Hill. Whether it's through signage, whatever we got to do. But like the other day, there was a man laying on the little brick wall there by the bank with his junk hanging out. I mean, who wants to see that? So, and one other thing, you hear rumors what's going to happen with that bank building. I know this is your first meeting, but as soon as y'all make your decision, I wish you'd let the public know. I mean, what way the city's going to move forward. There was 4 people who regularly spoke against that bank. Myself, John Garvin, Jim Alshire, and Michelle Davis. But as you can see by the new faces here, the city was listening. The voters come out to the box. And just let's get things moving in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mr.
Jim.
Ayers. Mr. Burt, are you with us?
Hello, my name is James Burton. I would like to address a couple things if time would allow, but I'd talk to you a little bit, and you was just talking about the bank building, but I'd talk to you a little bit about possibly using the bank building to open a Southern West Virginia Heritage Museum. And I'd be interested in trying to help pursue preservation grant money, trying to make that happen. I talked to Mita a little bit about it too, and we had talked a little bit about community garden. So I wanted to represent, or I wanted to give you the idea of possibly maybe putting a committee or something together to move some of these community projects forward, if there isn't one already, whether permanent or ad hoc, to try to move some of these possible community development project ideas forward. I know we have the economic development director trying to move it forward, but I would like to try to get more community buy-in behind it. And I think maybe a committee, either permanent or ad hoc, would help. And if you got a moment, I would like to tell you about another project that I've been working on.
Go ahead.
And what I'll tell you about today. I'm also the president and CEO of Housed Up Incorporated, a 501c3 nonprofit in Fayette County, founded to end homelessness through housing and services. I've been collecting data on housing and homelessness in Southern West Virginia for 4 years in preparation for this project. Recently, I submitted an ARC Inspire planning grant to build a single-room occupancy permanent supportive housing project with a Pathways to Housing program. I've recruited the help of the West Virginia Grant Resource Center, the West Virginia Coalition to End Homelessness, the West Virginia Housing Development Fund, Pathways to Housing in Pennsylvania, different HUD contacts, as well as other organizations and community members. This project is designed to move program participants from homelessness to housing with staffing and a stability plan centered around the client's goals and needs with proven best practices. While the focus is housing first, we also plan to provide access to life skills training, trade schools training, recovery supports, and other community assets to help transition to stable housing and income. Housed Up also plans to become a community housing developmental organization and use data collected in the area to help plan and build affordable housing. While our current project is planning a small 5 to 12 unit shared living space, this will be adequate to move participants to suitable housing options, help them gain an income, and collect community level data to bridge the gap on low income rental units in our area. My objectives of telling you this here today is number one, and I don't need to know today, but I would like to work towards knowing sometime in the future, and the sooner would be the better. If I could get a letter of support from the city, letter of support would help me with grant points. With the planning grant right now, it's under review. But moving forward with an implementation grant, or if this doesn't get awarded, I have other funding avenues. But a letter of support would help with points on a grant in one of those areas. And it'll also help with going to the Fayette County Commission to get permitting for the project as well. And the second reason, which you'd probably be able to produce a lot quicker, would be a contact person to help move the project forward, or at least to tell me, no, we're not going to work with you.
Okay, do you have any documents you want to leave with us in your contact information?
I have sent Demita a copy of the entire 45-page grant proposal and the 10-page white paper that the Grant Resource Center had me type up
Okay,
to help me put the grant together.
okay.
So she has those documents, and I can leave you with one of my business cards, but you have my personal
I do,
information too,
I do.
and I can send it to any of the members if they would want to see it. I have that stuff
Okay,
readily available.
thank you very much.
Just for council's information, James is also a member of our core team for our Hubcap community project. So he has been involved with us for a little bit.
What's your last name, James?
All right, going to move along to unfinished business. Number one would be consideration to enter a contract for the municipal building renovations with Dan Hill Construction. Mr. Hill is here and he has signed up to speak. Would you come to the front, please?
Most of you know me. I've been in business 40 years in Fayette County here and in Dan Hill Construction, and also in the Glenn Ferris Inn at Glenn Ferris. I don't operate it now, but I've had a couple of bouts with cancer and kind of moved away from that, my wife and I. But I understand that some people do not want the renovation done on the building there. It's a beautiful building and it will make a beautiful city hall for the people of Oak Hill. I think if you approve the us building it, we would appreciate it. A lot of our workers are from Fayette County. Several of them are from the Oak Hill area. I have a subcontractor, Plateau Electric. He lives in Scarborough, but does a lot of work. Rodney Tony, Denler Fencing, a painter from here, North Water Painting, is also from this area. And we work and live here and we appreciate the work. I have a reputation, I think, of being a quality contractor, and I'll do a good job for you. And I was low bid. There were several other bidders. We worked very hard to get this bid. We would appreciate the work. But if you see fit that you don't want this renovated at this time, that's your decision. But I'm telling you, it's not going to get any cheaper. With the way the economy is now and the inflation that has transpired in the last year, things have gone up a lot. Things cost a lot. And the labor's going up, materials going up, supply issues that are out there. But whatever your consideration is, we appreciate it. Okay?
Thank you.
Do you all have any questions of me? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. All right, council, let's go to it. Number one, consideration to enter a contract for the municipal building renovations with Dan Hill Construction. Anyone?
At our last meeting, bids were open and Dan Hill Construction was the low bidder. However, we have not entered into a contract with Dan Hill Construction as of today. Waiting on your approval to go ahead or to not go ahead.
I was hoping maybe we could table this to just discuss other options, explore other options. I know that James with the hubcap, he had mentioned the Heritage Museum, which we heard a little bit about the other night. So there are other opportunities to maybe house in that building as far as not doing a city hall, but there is opportunity there to do something else.
I'll second that motion to table.
All right, motion to table has been put forth and seconded. Any question?
Yes. Didn't we vote to do that last time? Award the contract to Mr. Hill?
You voted to award the contract, yes. Mr. Hill, how long is your bid good for? 60 days.
Change price. Something I wanted to say about how to say it. Appreciate your consideration. We spent a lot of money already on the building. Spent a lot of money on Texas bond. Throw all that out. Money gone on the building. I've spent a lot of money on bidding the project. It takes money to do this. That's just part of our overhead that we have to do. My vote is to go ahead and do it. That's why I'm in business. The modest problem. I work very hard to get this move down. Try to do it when you all first.
Thank you.
Mayor, if I may say.
Yes.
Because the action of council at the last meeting, which I believe it did approve the contract, and which I understand has not been signed, I believe this, if there's going to be any change made. Oh, I'm sorry. I believe at the next meeting, you at least need a motion to rescind. It should probably be on the agenda to that effect. That's something you need to consider if it becomes the desire of this body to not go forward with the contract. I don't think it should be left on the table for a lengthy period of time because it has already been acted upon, and I think you need to move relatively quickly if you're going to rescind a motion that was made. So my recommendation would be to have this on the agenda at the next meeting and to make a decision if that's the choice of this body.
Mayor, if I could,
Yeah.
Mr. Fowle, have you reviewed the situation as far as, what Mr. Smallwood said and that, from a legal aspect, if this council chooses not to move forward with the renovations as specified by Chapman Technical Group, do you see no legal ramifications of that?
This body, and especially since this is a relatively new body, that's having to act and pay for a decision that was made at the last meeting, I believe would have the right to rescind that action. I haven't looked carefully as to whether there are any legal ramifications. I can certainly do that. I don't want to be presumptuous to say that's the way this body intends to go, but I think this body needs to be aware that a decision will have to be made. You can't leave it on the table indefinitely.
Right. I'm sorry. Would you be uncomfortable as the legal counsel for this body if the decision was to rescind that tonight? Or would you rather it be tabled? Would you recommend council table it for review?
And I think it should be probably tabled tonight for review. And I
Okay.
think if it's going to be, if there's going to be a motion to rescind, I think the agenda should probably state that that's what the proposed motion is going to be.
We are, tonight I'm going to ask for council to set a meeting at the end of the month to our budget revision. So we may be able to take it up at that time, and it wouldn't have to go until the next council meeting.
Do I need to restate?
Shouldn't have.
No, your
Okay.
motion is to table.
You're, I assume, tabling any action on this
Yes.
matter this evening.
Yes.
Yes, I don't think you need to restate that.
All right, motion has been set and seconded. We have a questions already been answered. Let's vote. Those in favor? Those opposed?
Uh,
The ayes have it. So moving on to number 2. Planning Commission recommendation to approve the rezoning to B2 to allow the existing building to be torn down and moved over and a new station and subway be built. This is the second reading. This is the subway across from McDonald's, correct? Or the gas station across from McDonald's, correct?
Yes. So they are, Mr. Ball is planning to tear down that whole station, the whole gas station as it is now, and move it. And there's a piece of that property that needs to be rezoned to B2 in order for him to do that. And he'll rebuild the gas station along with the subway.
City manager, has the surrounding property owners, were they notified before last meeting?
They were notified before the
Okay.
zoning meeting.
I move to approve item 2 to rezone to B2 to allow existing building to be torn down and moved.
I second that.
Motion's been properly moved and seconded. Any questions on the motion? All right, prepare to vote. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say nay. Motion is carried. Moving on to number 3, consideration to adopt the 2018 International Property Maintenance Code. This is also the second reading of this.
This is the code that will allow us, for one thing, to help get structures torn down easier. And our newly hired building inspector and floodplain manager, Ben Love, is here with us tonight if anyone has questions about the adoption of this code.
Can you make a comment on it, Ben?
I'll just read from the book.
Ben, will you get speak in the microphone too?
Yes,
Thank
I'll
you.
just
Thank you.
read directly from the code. And to give you guys a little bit of a background of it. So the dilapidated building demolitions that have been adopted by the DEP are based off of the requirements or
I don't know, the standards that are put forth in the International Property Maintenance Code. I am certified under the International Property Maintenance Code, so I can do housing inspections and condemn buildings. Now, to read straight from the book, one moment, please. All right, the International Property Maintenance Code is a model code that regulates the minimum maintenance requirements for existing buildings. The IPMC is a maintenance document intended to establish minimum maintenance standards for basic equipment, light, ventilation, heating, sanitation, and fire safety. Responsibility is fixed among owners, operators, and occupants for code compliance. The IPMC provides the regulation and safe use of existing structures in the interest of the social and economic welfare of the community. Again, I do have my certification under this. And it's strange that we already have the IBC and the IRC adopted by our community, but we missed this because in layman's terms, this is this situation is getting the cart before the horse. This is what I would call the gateway code into all the other codes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank
Thanks,
you.
man.
Thank you, Mr. Love. Do I get a motion for this, to adopt this? Anyone?
I'll make that motion to adopt.
Second?
I'll say.
Motion's been properly moved and second. Any other questions? All right, prepare to vote, folks. Excuse me. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those Say nay. Motion is carried. Moving on to number 4, consideration of the hiring process for the City of Oak Hill prosecuting attorney.
When we received word that our current or our prosecuting attorney was going to resign and go to another job, after we had it at our last council meeting, the next day I started getting resumes in for the position. So I did not put it in the paper. I have 2 very qualified applicants for this position. I just need to know if you want to go ahead and interview those 2, or would you like me to advertise it and get more applications?
I would like to see it still advertised, Amita.
Okay. What do
I'll second that.
All right. Motion's been properly moved and second. Any other questions? Prepare to vote, folks. Excuse me just a minute here. Let me mark myself off. I don't have my glasses. Apologize to you.
What would you rather do, city manager?
Well, I think these are 2 qualified. I don't know that advertising will get more, but I mean, that's something I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know how often attorneys are looking in the paper to get another job. Yes.
It might be worthwhile noting that ruling from the Judicial Ethics Committee that one of the people who were interested got basically says that it really limits who can do this.
Right. If you
do this, you can't represent any criminal case in the state of West Virginia as a private attorney. So that knocks people out of their business. And I think the only ones that's really qualified or going to be qualified for it are existing assistant prosecuting attorneys. And that's 2 of the applicants that we have. One of those is out of Raleigh County, one of those is out of Texas. So your average attorney who represents criminal cases, such as court-appointed cases, most of them do, or they're required to, they're not even going to be able to apply.
right. So they cannot defend anyone in a criminal case. Is it in the whole state or just Fayette County? In the whole state. So that does pretty much limit you to your prosecutors.
Mrs. Hodges, able to hear that from the chief?
No, I didn't hear. I could, if somebody's not talking into the microphone, I can't hear them. I'm sorry.
Okay, he's going to repeat it.
Krista, what I was saying, there, one attorney who was interested in this went and got an opinion from the state Judicial Ethics Committee. They told her that if she took this position, she would not be able to represent any criminal cases, any defendants in criminal cases in the entire state. So it's really going to limit who is going to be able to apply for this position. And the ones that I see that are going to be able to apply are our existing assistant prosecuting attorneys in our surrounding area. The average attorney, and most attorneys, Mr. Fowle will probably attest to this, are on the list to be court appointed. They have to be, most of them do. Is that?
That's correct.
Yeah. So really, you're going to have a limited field of applicants or people who would want to do this.
Now, an attorney could get off of that list if he or she accepted a position as a prosecutor for the city,
Right,
but he could not do both.
right. So I believe
So
that,
you'd
I
really
believe that
be,
advertising it, I mean, I don't know.
it's gonna mess up the waters.
I
Most
think
peo-
so. You're gonna be dealing with a lot of attorneys who are in at the end of it are not gonna be willing to do this.
Or they're in real estate or something that they probably wouldn't be qualified to prosecute, maybe.
Well, and I completely understand that, but isn't that part of due diligence is advertising this? And we may not get any other applicants, but shouldn't we still at least try to advertise it?
I would just say, and I'm not disagreeing with you, I would say that we've went right now, I think 3 court nights, which are every other week, without a prosecutor. A few cases have been delayed for that fact. So if we do advertise, I just request that it could be something pretty speedy that we could get somebody on board relatively quick.
And I'm not disagreeing either, other than the fact that the jobs that I have advertised have almost always produced 0 qualified applicants for any of the positions.
How long do you have to advertise?
We don't have to advertise at all. Mr. Smallwood's asked for 3 or 5 days, which we've done. We've done 10 days. I mean, that's normally just not the best way to advertise. But we also put it on social media. It's just, I mean, I guess it depends on the job.
The two.
But I advertised for a laborer for 2 weeks, I think, maybe, not every day, but just different days. I got 1 application.
The 2 applicants you have currently, are they aware of what Mike's talking about?
They're both prosecutors, so they wouldn't be defending anyone.
Could we consider compromising and advertising on social media for a short period of time?
Yes, that's fine. I'm
That sounds good.
do whatever you tell me. I'm not, I don't have an opinion one way or the other.
But did we also have a motion that was passed to advertise?
You did have that. But I did not do that because I started getting those in right away.
Again, I just ask that whatever's done is done relatively quick.
If it's the decision to not advertise, he is correct, there is a motion, and it would take a motion to rescind that, which also would need to be on the agenda, in my opinion.
Okay, so I'll advertise on social media. And then how would you like to interview? You just want me to set up a time? Do you want to do it at the end of July before the budget meeting that we have? Do you want to? Do you want me just to try to schedule another day for them to come in?
Wasn't there a committee set up for that?
Well, half of those people are gone.
Would it have,
I mean, I thought it was just the committee to select or to help get that going. I didn't think they were the interview committee.
would it have to be council? Involved in the interview process?
That's no, it wouldn't have to be. We could, I mean, someone could meet and make a recommendation to council. Council does hire the prosecutor.
Right. Would,
So if you'd like to have another committee, if the mayor wants to appoint another committee, we could do that. You know, I wouldn't mind to sit in on it. I'm sure the chief would. If anybody else,
Mr. Fowle was a
you were on that.
municipal.
Oh, and he was
Oh.
on, I think he was on the committee.
Okay.
This,
I think
Danny
the chief was on there or his assistant.
and, Mr. Perry.
Okay, so we need to replace, we still have the committee intact. We just need to replace a couple.
Well, I mean, if you think three people are usually a good committee unless someone from council wants to be on it.
We'll just keep it as is with two police officers and Mr. Fowle. Is that fine?
I'm fine with it.
My motion?
You can go with that.
Yep.
Hey, Mayor, can you push your mic down?
Yes, ma'am.
There we go.
There we go.
Now, I hear you. Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Did somebody make a motion that,
Not yet.
oh, okay. Okay,
Well, I'll make a motion that we do that committee.
Okay, we'll leave the committee as it is. We'll take the three that we have.
Yes.
And that'll be our committee. Okay.
I'll second that.
All right, motion has been properly moved and second. Any questions? All right, let's do vote. Let's do the vote. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, motion is carried. Thank you. Moving down to new business, and before we get to new business, I see that it has bid openings for paving the following streets. I want to thank our maintenance department. Mr. Kirk and I talked about some grass, and I see it was getting cut today. Look at you. Huh? Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Now that guy won't bother me anymore. He'll bother me. It's all good. He's a friend. Thank you. All right, number 5, bid opening for paving of the following streets: Washington Avenue, Summerlee Avenue, 2nd Street, Sydney Street, and Brentwood Place.
I have 2 bids for those streets, and the first one I'm going to open is from AAA Paving and Sealing from Princeton. And their bid is $132,275. That is for all the streets that were mentioned. They do have their bond and their contractor's license. It appears that everything is here. Insurance, their bid bond, and their they don't need a performance bond yet. They have their bid bond. And the next one is from West Virginia Paving. And both of these were also at the mandatory pre-bid conference. And their bid is $139,000. So it appears that AAA Paving is the low bidder pending our review. of the bid and the specs,
What was their bid again?
AAA paving. $132,275. And both of them have Washington Avenue to be a full meal. But I'd like to let Day look at it and make sure that it meets the specs that we had.
Well, I would move that we award the low bid pending Public Works Director and the city manager's review.
Can we get a second?
Second that.
Motion's been moved and seconded. Any questions, folks?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Mr. Bragg, these bids came in well under $200,000. And I just want to point it out that that's the least amount of paving that this city has done in years and years. And if Mr. Bragg, can you show some previous years?
Okay. Okay, so on the screen right now, this is our road paving projects dashboard. On the screen, I'm showing the 2022 paving projects. We had 11 streets last year, a total of $307,000. If I go back 1 year to 2021, 22 different projects. A project would be a street or a portion of a street. So that's 22 separate street segments. $364,000. It does vary as you go back through. 2020 was $269,000 with 13 projects. And so looking at this year's, we have 5 projects and the bid was $132,000 and some change, I think. So Mr. Hannibus is absolutely correct. This is a lot less than what we normally do. I would say that the city of Oak Hill has a great street paving project plan every year. From year to year, we pave a lot of streets, put a lot of money into it. There are other streets outside of our controlled state right of ways that we can't pave normally. That's in the state's hands. But as far as city streets go, our roads in total, and the Public Works Director really will speak to this portion of it much better. But they're really in good shape to where we can afford to cut back a year if we need to for budgetary purposes and spend a little bit less and then pick back up in the future year and not be hurt, not have streets that are in dire need. So,
That's just not, in my opinion, it's not sustainable year after year with that little bit of paving to keep streets in good condition. But like Mr. Bragg said, that's the advantage of keeping up with them, that you can cut back 1 year and not get hurt too bad. But that won't last. So.
Anyone want to make a motion to accept a low bid?
It's already,
It's our bid.
yeah,
Oh.
Bill Hannibus and.
Oh, my bad.
Skill second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did we do the vote?
Haven't done the vote.
Haven't
I'm
done-
losing my mind, folks. You guys forgive me. I tell you, I was in here Thursday, got a little emotional. So y'all gotta forgive me. I'm new to this, and haven't done any type of stuff like this since high school, since, and church and all that. So just bear with me. I guarantee you though, this group right here, they're gonna get it done. All right, let's do the vote, folks. All those in favor? Those opposed? Motion is carried. Low bid has been accepted. Number 6. Yes, ma'am.
Can we go back to number 4?
Sure.
Because Krista had she had made a motion for the advertisement and then it was decided for the social media.
Okay.
I believe PJ had seconded, but we didn't vote on
Didn't
it.
vote on that?
We
Okay.
didn't have a vote. So do you want to go ahead and vote?
Let's
on
do that then. All those in favor?
What,
Well, no questions. Any questions?
what are we voting? for?
We're voting. Go ahead.
Or she had recommended it be advertised,
Some more.
and you suggested for the social media. And then, yes, so it was moved and seconded, so we either have to
Okay.
withdraw that or,
I think Mr. Fowle pointed out that we should advertise it since it's in a motion.
right, so it was moved and seconded, so we
Okay.
just-
It's gonna be advertised social media.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
so,
Is that correct?
that is correct. All right,
so we're,
we'll vote on it.
Got it, but
Okay.
All right, those in favor?
I
Those opposed? Motion is carried.
thank you.
You're quite welcome. Thank you. Number 6, administration reappointments for the following: City Manager D. Johnson, City Treasurer V. Vaughn, City Clerk R. Falk, City Judge W. Tony, and Chief of Police M. Wisman.
Do you have anything to say to me? You usually speak.
We'd like to be reappointed.
All right, I'd like to make that motion.
I'll
second
that.
And I want to read it out loud, please. I'd like to make the motion to reappoint to the following positions: City Manager Demita Johnson, City Treasurer Valerie Vaughn, City Clerk Rhonda Falk, City Judge Ham Tony, Chief of Police Mike Wisman.
I'll second that.
All right, motion has been properly moved and seconded. Any question on the motion? Prepare to vote. Those in favor, say aye. Those opposed, say nay. Motion is carried.
Thank you very
Welcome back.
much.
Number 7 is police hiring.
I believe the chief of police has.
About
This is under
3 months
control.
ago, we hired an officer under the 90-day emergency plan. He was a trained certified officer, come from Mount Hope. Like I say, that has to be transferred into full-time employment from the emergency plan. So that's number 1, the paper that's got a number 1 that I handed out. And this is the recommendation by the Oak Police Department Civil Service Commission to hire at a full-time position Samuel M. Jasper.
So I'll make a motion that we do that.
I'll second that.
Motion has been properly made and seconded. Any question on the motion? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Motion is carried.
The second paper that I had about a week ago, I received a letter from one of the officers who is leaving us effective, I believe, Friday the 14th. That officer is Kenny Collum, going to the VA, Police Department at the VA. I fully anticipate that he'll follow through with it. Since we have just created this list and we have willing, able applicants, I would like to go along with civil service recommendation to hire Brian Jacob White, contingent upon Mr. Collum leaving on the 14th. He'll probably start, that officer will probably start the following week, which I believe coincides with a new pay period. So if we could make that contingent upon Officer Collum walking out the door.
Is he a certified officer?
He is not.
He
He's a
is
young gentleman, currently lives in Raleigh County, has a pretty good tie to Fayette County with a fiance and her family. More than likely, he said he would be moving over here to Oak Hill. He has a history with his family in law enforcement. I believe his father is a Raleigh County deputy. He's 23 years old.
Will this get you at the staffing that you need or?
Yes. Yes, we'll be at full. We'll be full when Officer Cullum leaves and this boy takes over. Comes aboard.
I move contingent upon Officer Cullum's departure that the City of Oak Hill hire Brian Jacob White.
I second that. I second that.
Motion's been properly made and seconded. Any question? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed? All right, motion is carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Number 8, New River Gorge Convention and Visitors Bureau Annual Report. Hello.
I like this.
I'm Becky with the Chamber and the New River Board CBB for Fayette County.
Thank you.
The
Okay.
annual report and the visitor guide is in your bag. Some stuff to read on top of. So what I'm doing is, representing the New River Gorge CVB and the New River Gorge Visitor Center. And this is our annual report from 2022. So just to give you some background, our office is the office beside Holiday Lodge in Oak Hill, here off Wheeler Avenue. It's the New River Gorge Visitor Center. Excuse me. And the city of Oak Hill contributes 50% of their hotel occupancy tax to the CVB, which is required by state code. So the hotel occupancy tax, the city of Oak Hill keeps 50% and gives 50% to their local CVB, which is New River Gorge CVB, AKA Fayette County. The annual report goes over numbers from 2022, including visitation, our visitor's guide, our brochure distribution, our marketing campaigns. The biggest one from 2022 was the bear scavenger hunt campaign, and you will see that booklet in your bags. I did present to the previous council with the bear scavenger hunt and the numbers, but the numbers are all in your book. This is the annual report. So it goes over who we are, the mission statement, the visitor center data, tourism in Fayette County, and the campaigns are in the middle there. You'll see the bear scavenger hunt at the top. There were almost 3 million impressions from that scavenger hunt, so we do continue to promote it. It's not an active campaign this year, but it is something that we still promote in the office. And there is a section on our website that's newrivergorgecvb.com. So you do have the bear, we call it, I believe it's called New River George's Bear Trail now on our website. So you will see that, and we do have fun giveaways and the booklet that you have in our office to give to anyone that comes in asking about the bears, which is pretty often. And on the back, you'll see our board members and our staff members. The CVB itself has 3 full-time staff members and 6 volunteers. So we do have a volunteer every day of the week that we're open. Make sure I don't forget anything. The lodging properties that are listed on our website and in our visitor's guide are based off of the hotel occupancy tax that we receive. So once you all start going over your budget, you'll see those numbers. Just to go over like the last 5 years, Oak Hill in 2018 contributed $47,000 to the CVB. 2019, $133,000. 2020, which was COVID, $47,000. Still recovering in 2021, $50,000. And in 2022, we went back up to about $84,000. That's the 50% contribution that you gave to the CVB, and you have the other half to spend on tourism. So far in 2023, we're at 13,000, but that's just through May payment so far this year. So I think that's about it. Does anybody have any questions about the campaign or the visitor guides, the brochure distribution, and the other things that we do in the office? And always feel free to stop by and say hi. We're open 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and 9 to 3 on Saturday. Okay.
Thank you for your time. Thanks, babe.
Thank you. Can we get a motion to accept the report?
I'll make that motion.
Second, anyone?
I'll second.
Motion's been properly moved and second. Any questions? We'll take a vote. All those in favor to accept the report, say aye. All those opposed? Motion is carried. All right, folks, if you'll turn the page, we have some department reports. We'll go in this order: Police Department, Fire Department, City Manager, Beautification Commission, Code Enforcement, and MS4. Chief, are you doing the?
These have all been provided in your packet. So if we can go over them, or if you have questions, that's up to you.
Up to you.
The code enforcement that's on here, is that like what Mr. Ben is going to be doing, or?
That's what Bill Light does. Ben will be doing more of the housing, the dilapidated structures, and then he will start to work on doing the building inspections that we now have the county do. We only renewed that contract for 6 months to give Ben a chance. He has a couple of tests, I think one test that he has to take, and just to get, we could get permission from the fire marshal for him to do it now, but we wanted to go ahead and just let him get into that routine before inspection. So Bill Light will continue to do those, and Day Day is going to help some of that on the time with some of that when Bill's not here.
Okay, I think, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we're going to have to, if we're going to become a code enforcement agency, that we're going to have to establish a board of appeals.
Yes,
Also,
and
for that,
we
as we're
looked at,
moving along with this, I don't know,
Right.
maybe if we want to look at Raleigh County or something and see how they do it, how they have it set up, but I think we gotta have like an electrician, a plumber, different qualified people to be
we
on.
looked
the
at
field.
that, and did you get something? You were gonna get
I've
something.
got
Did you get
the
it?
contractor code book, but I haven't got that far into
look in
it
it.
to see.
What we can see that the code says that we can use the county board, but we can also establish our own board, which probably we will want to do,
Yeah, because
is establish our own appeal board. Because I don't know, I mean, I guess maybe the county has one, but I don't know if they've been using it or not. But we can we'll get all that, we will get that stuff together before we get it, before Ben goes out on his own,
gotcha,
before we let him fly.
gotcha.
Any other reports? Anyone else here?
On the, on the department reports,
Mhm.
most everything listed there is managed through the GIS system, and we'll all be receiving training on the GIS where they report daily, and everything's in on a map. You can see in real time, 24 hours a day, what's been done by code enforcement, for example, or the fire department. And actually to go from that to a static hard copy or likes in our packet is just additional time, and in my opinion, not nearly as good.
Right, and we will be issuing each of you an iPad. I think you already have one, Mr. Smallwood already has one, and we'll do some training on that so that everybody will know how to use it. Tyler's going to do that training. and show everyone how to use the maps, get the information that you need. Also, on August 21st, which is a Monday at 5:30, I've arranged a training for council, and it's Tom Haywood from Bowles Rice, and he will be doing a training on council's roles and responsibilities and Open Meetings Act. He will do both of those. He said that will probably take about 90 minutes. And then hopefully we can do this training. We may be able to do the training with Tyler before that. But if we can do some other training just about some internal things, some things that we'd like to go over. And we still shouldn't keep you very long.
So with this training and with this iPad that Tyler's given us all, there is absolutely no need that we need anything printed out and handed to us anymore. We can do everything digital, right? Everything's gonna drop to us electronically. Am I correct there?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Mhm. We're still we need to work out how we're gonna do the council packets. We're working on that still. But it'll be something easy, we hope.
Yes.
Hopefully, I'm already fumbling through the papers.
Yes. So that'll be coming up. It's just some things we'll have to work through to try to get it all in there. And then, like I said, we'll just do some internal things. Just go over some things that I like as city manager, at the chief of police will have some things, and Rhonda, all of us may have some things that how we handle things.
No, what about like some of the other committees in town, some of the other committees and like Allison, our economic development, will they still continue to give a report with us here, or are they, because they're not listed on, and I'm just curious, how are we gonna know about them?
Well, most of the committees are not, other planning and zoning, or the planning commission, board of zoning and appeals, those always appear on the agenda. So you'll know what they're doing just because, well, board of zoning doesn't, but they give us a report. So we'll have those things that you'll know. The other commissions are not real active. So we rarely have reports, and by next, either at this meeting at the end of July or in August, we hope to have all the commissions listed for y'all to look at, to see if you want to keep all of them or just the ones that are in our charter or our code. That's something you all have to decide. And then members need to be appointed to those. Some of them the mayor appoints and council approves. Some of them council appoints. So each committee has different rules with it. So we have a lot of committees, so we'll have to look at that. I would like, I think we talked about maybe having Allison to just orally give her report, because she has a lot of things going on. So I think they're easier if you hear her talk about them. And then you can ask her some questions, and because she has a lot of exciting stuff going on that I think is good for everybody to hear.
All right.
I do have my MS4 report to give. So if you remember last month, I told you to come back this month so you can learn the signs of an illicit discharge. So those are unusual water color, oily sheen, foam, suds, turbidity, smell or fumes, discarded drums or other containers and materials, brown or dead plants around an outfall, sick or dead animals around an outfall, and personal symptoms like burning eyes, nose, skin, nausea, or headache. So if you see any of those or smell any of those, please contact us here at City Hall so that we can make sure that it gets taken care of.
Okay.
And then I have one other
Yes.
thing, or a
Go
few,
ahead.
few other things here. Next month at the August council meeting, and I know this is not on the agenda, but I would like to ask to change the date of our August council meeting because I'll be at a conference. It's the Rural Water Conference, which there's a lot of people there that I can talk to. The DEP is normally there, and there are other people that is good for me to talk to while I'm there. And so I won't be here on the 14th. So if we could have August meeting on August 7th, that would be good. And we can actually put it on the agenda for the end of the month meeting for you to decide that. But if I can know if you're kind of agreeing so that we could have notice to our Board of Zoning Appeals and Planning Commission if anything comes up before then.
August 7th works. for me.
Works for me.
Okay,
5:30.
August 7th at 5:30.
Does that need to be done in a motion form? or any-
We'll do it. We'll put it on the agenda in July at the end of the month.
Okay,
Is that good,
Yes.
Mr. Fowle?
What you
To
doing?
change the meeting date?
I mean, what agenda? are you doing?
Oh, we're having a special meeting
Okay, yeah,
at the
okay,
end of the
fine.
month. Okay, that is the one part of the charter, of the charter amendments that passed, that we could do that if we needed to. And I'll also be asking to change the November meeting. But other than that, I won't ask anymore. And that's all.
What's the
Could you-
date of the special meeting at the end of July?
Oh, we do have, that was the other thing. We do have to set that date. And if July 27th, I know that's on a Thursday, but it takes every last second that we have to get that budget revision ready. So if you could do it on July 27th at 5:30, that's on a Thursday evening.
Sounds fun.
I'll be out of town, but y'all can.
I'll be out of town.
Two out of
Two.
town. Are you all out the whole week?
No,
Because I mean, we could do it a
I could do
different,
Monday.
if you could do it earlier,
I could do Monday.
Monday. But we'll still have an agenda. We'll still have a quorum
Mhm.
if everyone else
Everyone else
can.
comes.
Krista, can you come that evening?
July 27th or 24th?
27th.
Yeah, I can be there,
Okay.
but I'm good with whatever.
Okay, if that's. Yes, you could be Zoom if you want to. If you're on vacation, you may not want to. But, okay, July 27th, if that's okay. And then I'll try to hold the other items on the agenda to a minimum since you all won't be here. We won't go over anything important except changing the August council meeting. Okay, thank you.
City
Thank you.
manager, I don't want to jump the gun here, but what is this special project behind New River Health?
Oh, it's just, there's the land, North Hills Group owns that. And we're just trying to help them get that ready to sell, to develop it and sell it. And we're trying to do it with a goal in mind which we do not have a goal right now in mind. But we're going to work with them and try to help them. The county, as part of their comprehensive plan, they're trying to get every property on 19 to have water and sewer. So that's a good property. And if it's located in Oak Hill, it's even better. So that's what we're working on. That's part of, Allison's been working on that to just try to help them get that developed. We can do a public-private partnership. And there's some money available to do that.
All right.
On August 21st, the Tom Haywood, I believe he said, what time on August?
5:30. This is hard for you coming off of your tired life, isn't it?
It is.
All right, we all set? Well, I'm going to ask, because I bark orders all day long at work, so I'm going to ask nicely now that all of council just say 20, 30 seconds to the people. Starting with Mr. Smallwood.
Well, I was going to do that with my comments,
Oh, go ahead.
but I would like to thank the people who voted for me. I really appreciate it. And also who voted against me as well. Because at least they were out voting.
PJ?
I'd like to say the same thing. Thanks for everybody that voted for me, and thanks for everybody coming out to vote.
I'd like to thank everyone that showed their support in me, voted for me. I'm ready to move the city forward in any way that I can. It's exciting times. There's a reason the windshield is bigger than the rear view mirror. Let's full steam ahead.
I want to thank everyone as well. I really appreciate the big turnout during the election. I will try to do my best. I promise you that. I can't promise that I'll always agree with you, but I will always listen to you. My cell phone number is 640-4389. I want to hear from you. I will be asking, but if I don't ask you, call me about different issues before the city. And we have a lot of important issues right now. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart.
Diana?
I want to take time to thank everyone for their support and getting out to vote. Voting's very, very important. If you think your vote doesn't count, think again, because voting does count. So I appreciate it. As well, we have a lot to do here for the city, so I'm very excited for this new council. I wish to welcome each new member here and look forward to moving forward. Thank you.
And I'm also very thankful for everybody's time to vote and coming out, and a lot of great people to work with. And I'm looking forward this year, trying to do some work for Oak Hill and get this place where we need it to be. I'm very thankful. Thank you.
Krista?
I am definitely very thankful and I appreciate everybody coming out to vote. And I'm really excited about whipping out my list. So let's do it.
All right. And for me, thank you all again. Charleston, I couldn't believe it. You know, when I filed, I got a phone call from Charleston. I'm thinking, oh, I've done something. So we're going to keep it going and see what happens. And we're going to make the best of it. And I appreciate all of you. And keep coming out to the meetings. Look at us on social media. Please like and comment. If you come to the meetings, you're going to get to speak. Sign the book. Don't feel intimidated. Don't be intimidated. Just come do what you need to do. Talk to any of us at any time. Matter of fact, most of you now know where I live. I've seen you driving by. You know, I'm getting messages all the time. So thank you. We're here for you. I appreciate it. We have one set of announcements. Did you?
Oh, I just said thank you.
Oh, okay, okay. The announcement is West Virginia's 54th Annual Municipal Leagues Conference will be held at Oakland Resort in Wheeling, beautiful place, on July 31st through August 2nd, 2023. So if all minds are clear, we are adjourned.
I agree.
Man.
Daylight house.
But I'll.